Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline, and today's video is going to be the books that I read in August. August was not a great reading month for me. To be honest, it was probably one of the worst I've had in like a couple years, just because August, I feel like August is such a busy month. B, I kind of got into a reading slump, but I only read 4 books in August, and the first one was an audiobook that I've been listening to forever, so that barely even counts, but it's okay. I'm hoping September is a better reading month. I've gotten into the swing of things. If you watched my August picks, my TBR, I only read one of the books that was on my August TBR. So that was a bust for the month of August, but I definitely want to try that again and do better next time. But anyway, enough of all of the rambling. Once again, I'm using my phone for notes. But the very first book that I read in August was an audiobook. I'll pop it up here. And it was Spare. I have been listening to Spare since April, so it took me several months to get through it, but I finally finished it in August. And I rated it a 3.5 stars. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't my favorite book. It definitely made me realize that I like memoirs, so I want to continue to read different memoirs because I found it really interesting, his life, and especially his childhood. Was really fascinating about the boarding school he grew up in and his dynamic with his brother, his dynamic with his father, how his mother's death impacted him, why he and Megan left the palace, just all that stuff. It's a really detailed book, and so that was kind of the thing I didn't like about it, is that there was so many details. I felt like Jack Edwards said it perfectly, and when he talked about it, and he said, I watched one of his videos, and he said it was like there wasn't an editor, which was kind of the vibe I got too, just because they kept everything in, and I felt like that was unnecessary. Especially, there were a few chapters where, if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, where he talked about a medical problem he had where he had to go see a doctor for it. I don't know. He just talked about some things that I felt did not have to do with the overall theme, or that seemed kind of insignificant compared to all these other things that happened in his life. So yeah, 3.5. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to read more memoirs, but that one wasn't my favorite. It wasn't a 5-star read. Next up, I read The Art of Racing in the Rain. I rated this a 2.5. I did not like this book. It wasn't terrible, and as you can see, I tabbed it because I had to read this for school, but I just didn't like the fact that it was narrated by a dog, because it's an adult book, so it talks about adult topics, but it's a dog narrating it, so it has this childlike feel to it, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a paradox that my brain did not understand, where it'd be a dog talking about these really intense things that were going on in his owner's life. So this one was not my favorite, but I had to read it for school. Personally, I think the movie is better. Next up, I read The Silent Woods, which I also rated a 3.5, same as Spare. I was so looking forward to this book because it sounded so good. I was ready for an intense plot twist. I was ready for some spooky vibes. I was ready for it all. And I will say the spooky vibes did give. I loved the cabin feel, we're in the cabin in the middle of nowhere. The author did a great job of descriptions and imagery, and I could really picture this cabin in my head while I was reading it. And so that part was really cool. But it felt like I was just waiting and waiting for a plot twist that never came. And so this book, if you're expecting a plot twist, there is no plot twist. There is a mystery that happens, but it's at the very end of the book, and I feel like the majority of this book was just these people living their lives. I feel like it's more of just fiction, or maybe even literary fiction, rather than a mystery, just because majority of it, it's not very plot heavy at all. It's just this guy and his daughter's life in the woods. It's Cooper and Fern, I think is her name, or her name is a Finch. It's Cooper and Finch, and it's just them out living in the woods. So if you want fall spooky vibes in the woods, maybe if you are on vacation and you're in a cabin in the woods, this is the book for you. if you're in your room at home, not in the woods, wanting a plot twisty mystery, this is not the book for you. And lastly, the fourth and final book that I read in August was The Secret Life of Bees. I actually just finished this before I started filming this video, so this is like my fresh reaction. I rated this a 3.75, which I know it's annoying. I do rate books like 3.25, 3.75, just because they're more accurate ratings, and I feel like I can get super specific when I can do that. And so I've rated a lot of books, especially recently, 3.75, because to me 3.75 is like, that was a good book, but it's like a good book, but, you know, where it's like a 4 stars is like a good book. I liked that book. I would read other books by that author. A 3.75 is like, I liked that book, but it was kind of slow for me, or like, you know what I'm saying? So this was that. It was kind of slow, I felt like, at times, but I can't hold anything against this book, because it was like, I enjoyed reading it so much. It was so sweet. Basically about this girl Lily, and like, I don't know how much I can say without spoiling it. Oh, okay, they actually say a lot on the back of the book. So basically it's about this girl Lily. Her mother died when she was young, and she lives with her dad, T. Ray, and it's set in the 60s. It's set in 1964 in South Carolina. And she lives with her dad, and she has like a black woman who takes care of her. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if they call her like, oh, okay, they call her the stand-in mom. So she's like her stand-in mom, you know, she's like her governess or whatever. And her name is Rosaline, and Rosaline gets in some trouble, and some things happen. I know I'm being very vague about this, but anyway, they escape to, I'm going to say this wrong, but like Tiburon, South Carolina. It's Tiburon, South Carolina. And so they escape there, and they end up living with, I'm trying to see how much I can say about this, and they end up living with these 3 sisters who are beekeepers, and that is The Secret Life of Bees. Each chapter starts with a quote that it kind of foreshadows the chapter, but it's about bees, and they're all pulled from like different bee books basically. And those were the 4 books that I read in August. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit shorter because there were only 4 books, but I'm hoping September is a really great reading month for me. Fingers crossed. Comment down below what y'all read in August, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!